Good morning. This program is a Forever Forward from Entrepreneurs Forever. We run this program once a month. And today's topic is it is never too late to write a business plan. We thought this was a pretty timely topic for January. Everyone's going, all right, I'm going to lose some weight. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to write a business plan. Well, when Doogie and I talked about this, it's like, we need to make this doable by people, because if it's too complicated, they're going to get themselves overwhelmed. So hopefully we will make this a fun and interactive thing for you, and something that you can actually have a takeaway. My name is Deborah Gallant. I am the Entrepreneurs Forever Senior Program Manager. We're going to let Doogie introduce himself, and we're going to actually try to get all of you to just say your name, what your business is. And Doogie and I are really interested in knowing what's your thinking about business plans? Like, what motivated you to come to us at 8:30 in the morning and learn with us? I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview of what we have coming up. Then we're going to get into the presentation and some Q&A. And as I said, we'll have some time for some of those breakouts if I've timed it right. So I've introduced myself. Doogie, go right ahead.
Hi, everyone. I am Doogie Levine. I am both an eForever facilitator. So I'm so glad to see two of my members here today. If there's more of you, I can only see two of you on my screen, but it's good to see Tabitha and Tammy here. And I am also the CEO of ideasactionsuccess.com, which is an organization that specializes in process and operations. So that's who I am, and I'm excited to help answer some questions about which business plan is right for you.
Great. Thank you, Doogie. All right, so we're going to ask you to do this pretty quickly, and I'm going to do it in the order that I see you on my screen and just call on you. If you can just tell us your name, your business, if you're a member of Entrepreneurs Forever, we would love to know that, which group, and then why you're interested in this subject, which is business plans. So Cindy Berselli, you win because you are at the top of my screen.
Okay. Cindy Berselli from Pittsburgh, Cindy Berselli Fine Arts. I'm a painter, and I am a member of Entrepreneurs Forever. Terry's group, I forget what it's called, something with corner.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
And tell me why business plans is of interest to you.
Well, I'm trying to figure out if I really need one. I think I probably should. I mean, I have a general direction. Whether I actually need a formal business plan, I wasn't sure. So I'm coming to just gather information and expand my learning curve here.
Fantastic. Right on. Cindy Underwood.
That is the question today.
That is the question. Cindy,
and I'm going to have to cut out early probably, so I apologize for that. I'm sorry. Okay.
That's right. We are recording, and you can always watch the end on the recording. Great. Cindy Underwood, will you go next, please?
Good morning, Cindy Underwood. I too am from Pittsburgh, and I have a small business consulting partnership, and I am in Terry's group, Entrepreneurs Forever. We started in Homestead. So I'm here to sharpen my tools for business plan writing. We offer that as a service, so I'm here to learn.
That's great. David Benson.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is David Benson, and I own Fundamentals Flight Training at the Erie Airport in Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm a new member of Entrepreneurs Forever and out of the Erie group. And the reason why I'm interested in the business plan is because I have a rough idea, but I don't really have anything formal. And I got a lot of ideas, and I don't know when to put them in action. So I think that this will help.
That's great. I bet Doogie might even be willing to barter writing you a business plan. Flight lessons. What do you think, Doogie?
I mean, that's a trade. Yeah, I can see myself doing that.
That's a barter he might do. Wendy Mooney Smith, would you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, I'm Wendy Mooney Smith. I am in Franklin, Pennsylvania. I'm a part of the West PA 4 Entrepreneurs Forever group. We just had our first meeting, so I'm a newer member. Thank you. I'm a sound healer, Reiki practitioner, and artist, and I have a studio here in Franklin, and I have a virtual presence. And business plan, I came from corporate medicine. I could write business plans for everyone else. I'd like to learn to write one for myself.
That's great. Paula Moforte.
Hi, my name is Paula Moforte. I'm from Santiago, Chile, actually. I've been spending my time between the US and Chile. I have a communications and marketing agency here in Chile, and I'm looking to open one in Massachusetts soon, so I can soon become a member also of Entrepreneurs Forever. And so I need a business plan because although I've been doing this for 8 years here in Chile, it's a different beast in the US, so I need guidance. So thank you so much for this.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Paula, and welcome. Tammy Messenger.
Hi, I'm Tammy Messenger. We're in Doogie's group. Our business is TNT Admin Services. We do bookkeeping, any kind of administrative catch up anybody needs. We are in Titusville, Pennsylvania, and we would just like to figure out what exactly needs to be in the business plan. We started but never finished it, so that's our goal.
All right, thank you, Tammy. Amy Mosheberry, welcome back, Amy.
Thanks, Deb. Hi, everybody. Great to be here. Well, Paula, I'm in Massachusetts. So hello, I know Deb is as well. I'm in the Worcester, Mass group with Terry, and we have 6 amazing, happens to be all female entrepreneurs at this moment, but I'm very grateful for the group and the community, so thanks. I am the CEO and founder of Visions Internships, and we primarily help social impact organizations grow great internship programs. We also work with purpose-driven young people and help them get the skills and support to succeed. As far as a business plan, you know, even though you used to teach this stuff, you know, similar to, I think it was Wendy, you know, I really have finally like clarity on what I'm doing exactly on a yearly basis, which is a pretty big breakthrough for us, having 2 target audiences. So looking at the business plan again, sort of through new eyes to make sure we're accommodating both audiences, but really being clear and plugging in all that we know we're doing into, you know, kind of the best, most relevant business plan at this time. I back in the day, it was like a 40, 50 page template. And I'm like, how about,
Oh, please don't do that.
you know, how about 4 pages? How about like 3 or 4 pages? And, you know, the other piece is like, I've bootstrapped my business for 3.5 years, and it's now that we're more clear and moving forward, it's probably a good idea to potentially show funders as well. Like, why not? But I'm not quite organized to do that yet. So I think this will help me. Thank you.
That's great. And I'll just give Amy a little shout out. She ran a wonderful deep dive for us at the end of 2023 on using interns in your business. So if that's something you're interested in, check out our webinar with Amy as our presenter. James Stokes, welcome. Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year, everyone. I'm James Stokes, located outside of Pittsburgh near the airport. Company's name is On3, just like when you snap the picture. We recruit and deliver talent, specializing in information technology, healthcare, and finance and engineering. So the reason I like writing business plans is I like seeing how far life pushes me off where I'm going. Because the best laid plans of mice and men I find often go wrong.
Wouldn't they say man plans, God laughs, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks, James. Gina Guevara.
Yes, hi. My name is Gina Guevara. I'm based out of Pittsburgh. My business is a baby business. I haven't even like kind of launched it yet. I'm in the prepping stages. It's called Mar Terruño, which means my land and my sea, or ocean. And the reason why I'm interested in this webinar is because I do have like a draft of what I want to do, where I want to take it. And I'm kind of in that space where I need to get started applying for grants and nonprofit organization partnerships. So, you know, it's required to have a solid business plan and just to have it as a good starting guide for the future.
Great, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Sherlyn Johnson. Can you unmute? Doesn't seem like you're able to unmute. All right, let us know if you can get the sound later. We're gonna move on. Rodrigo Smith. You're
You
muted
also
also.
need to unmute, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
There you are.
Welcome.
Okay. Hi. My name is Rodrigo Smith. I am Florida. My English is very bad. You speak Spanish?
¿Qué es tu negocio?
Okay. In Spanish?
No, prefiero English.
Someone will translate.
Yeah.
I can help translate if it's needed.
Oh, Paula can translate for you.
Yeah,
Go
Paula
right
will
ahead.
translate. Go ahead and
Okay,
español.
thank you. Okay. Yo tengo un negocio de hace 20 años. Distribuyo bases para las salsas a nivel de Chile, Perú, Argentina, Panamá, Estados Unidos, con sede en Venezuela. Y tenemos 17 años distribuyendo productos para todas las comidas rápidas.
Okay,
Okay,
so
Paula,
he
we're ready.
owns, yes, he owns the business. He's been in it for 20 years. He distributes through all America, different countries, the base for making sauces for different fast foods.
Yeah, muy
Very
bien.
bien.
Gracias. Okay, Tabitha. You're Tammy's partner, right?
I am, or she's my partner. I don't know which, depending on what day.
we'll settle it
I'm-
at the next meeting.
Yeah. I'm Tabitha Tucker. We're TNT Admin Services. We do bookkeeping, payroll, different admin services in Titusville, Pennsylvania. We, of course, are members of Entrepreneurs Forever. Doogie is our facilitator. We love to learn and we love to update and we love to finish things off. So that's what we're here to do today, is to, get moving and finishing the business plan and making sure that everything is on there.
Great. Sherilyn, I saw you went off and came back. So let's see if the audio works now.
Yes, thank you.
Bingo. Uh-huh.
Had some technical difficulties, but my name is Sherilyn Johnson. I own Spoiled Beauty LLC, which is in the South Hills area of Pittsburgh. I am part of Shelly's group along with David. I see David on here today. The reason for my interest for this group is because even though I've had Spoiled Beauty for a little, it's coming up on 4 years actually. I've added some new things and expanded, but I never quite revised my plan here. And I feel like I've been falling into some hiccups. So I definitely feel like this is something that I need to do in the light of everything new that's going on now with the world.
Fantastic. Kalpana, I'm not sure if you're someplace that you can introduce yourself, but
I can. I am multitasking. Sorry, I'm eating breakfast. Hello,
only
everyone.
2 or 3 things this morning, right?
I'm Kalpana. I'm the owner. People call me Kay, so I just renamed. My business is Boston based. Kay's Curries. We make one-pot meals for Indian food. Just add butter and cook. They're vegan friendly, nut free, sesame free, and gluten free. We have a little store in Boston, but we just primarily do online. The reason for this, and I'm part of E Forever. I'm originally E for All. E Forever, I think it's Lola. I always forget which part. Is it Lola? Is that what they call us? Lola?
Yeah.
Not Lola. Lola. So the reason I'm actually working on a business plan, you're always, to be honest, you're always working on a business plan as your business is growing. That's my experience. So it's a perfect timing. Like I'm working on the 2024 goals and what the plan would be for the next 3 years. So this is perfect timing. And Deborah's sessions are always great. If you get an email, you have to just go to them. And unfortunately, I might have to leave early. I shouldn't say I would have to leave early, Deborah.
That's okay, Kalpana. We're delighted you're here. And as I said before, we record this. So if you miss something, you can always hop back on. By registering, you'll automatically get the recording. And in this case, we'll also be sending the deck as well. So let's see if we can get through everyone else. Joanne Berglin, I don't know if you're someplace you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, it's just, I'm in Las Vegas. So it's 5:30
Well, thank you for waking up so early.
So I just camera, not good right now. And I am part of Sylvan Learning Centers. And this was just my first year in business. I don't have a business plan. I want to expand and possibly get some loans. So I know that I need to get a business plan written.
Great. Thank you, Joanne. Mike Miller.
Thanks, Deborah. I'm Mike Miller, and I do public speaking, coaching, and training. And I'm in Western Massachusetts, far Western Massachusetts, part of the E4Ever group that's run by Harold. I'm also been a mentor in E4All, and part of the reason I want to be listening on this is helping my mentees with their business plans. I was just talking to a former mentee, and they're looking at their business plan a little bit. And I've got a little bit of a sniffles, and I'm a mess, so I'm going to leave my camera off.
That's fine. Thank you for joining us. David Wagner.
I'm David Wagner. I'm actually based in Southern Massachusetts. I'm a member of E4Ever. I'm in Deborah's group based out of Haverhill, Mass. My company is Clear Mission Consulting. I provide strategic planning services for nonprofits to help them make their strategies actually go into practice and have real impact, which has included at times helping new nonprofits build business plans. And I myself have not had one for my business for the last 3 years. So I'm trying to find out if that's something I need to invest more of my time in for myself.
Thanks, David, and welcome. I see that Katie McMahon, one of my colleagues, is on here. Katie, you want to just say hi?
Sure. Sorry, I'm also not going to hop on camera, but I'm the VP of Program at Entrepreneurs Forever, and I'm just so thrilled by this community. It's really nice to see all of you here. Thanks for being here.
That's great. Next on my screen, Chrissy Carroll. I didn't go to you yet, did I?
You did not. Good morning. I'm Chrissy. I am a full-time blogger. So my main site is called Snacking and Sneakers, where I share recipes and training plans for runners and triathletes.
So interesting. And business plan is of interest to you. Why?
I just feel like I need some more strategic direction with where to go. There's a lot happening in the online space with search generative experience and loss of third-party cookies and kind of all these things. So I'm just hoping to make a plan to move forward.
That's great. Joel Acree. I don't know. When people have their cameras up, I'm not sure if they can talk, but let me try.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm Joel Acree. I have my own construction company based in Pittsburgh, Acre Construction. I've only been been around for like a year in business. Just really want a business plan so I can have kind of like a coordinated plan to move forward, so that while I'm working with different clients and dealing with change orders and the just kind of craziness of the construction world, just to always have a plan to get back to, and just remember, like, these are my steps, this is where I'm going, this is where I'm headed, and just to try to stay calm, cool, and collected as possible. I would like to be like on the screen. However, I literally had a little funk on a job I'm currently doing. I'm refinishing some hardwood floors, and I was supposed to be in my office today, like on everything, but unfortunately I have to, due to a call I had last night with the client, I have to be on the job site. So I'll probably be popping in or out.
We get it.
I'm like,
no worries. All right. I think I got everyone. And if I missed you, I apologize, but we've already gone 20 minutes of into intros. Honestly, this is a record crowd. Doogie, I guess we picked a really good subject. People really want to dig into it. So I want to get there. In case some of you don't know about us, Entrepreneur Forever mission is to equalize opportunity by connecting often overlooked small business owners with the peers, education, and support they need to succeed. If any of you are not members and you want to know more, this link, and I'll drop it again later, lets you join one of our weekly information sessions where you can, if you like it and you qualify, you can become a member. We also do these events multiple times per month. This is actually a good opportunity for me to say, today we're going to talk about sort of conceptually business plans, sort of, I want to say qualitatively, what are the elements that go in them? If you want to really dig into your numbers and get quantified projections of your year, you'll want my next session with Eli Santiago on Monday, January 22nd, when we're going to do financial forecasting. Yeah, we're actually going to look at spreadsheets and compare last year to what's coming up and making assumptions. So today is really valuable, but it's from a more sort of strategic point of view, and we'll get really tactical in the deep dive later this month. And next month, Katie, my colleague who just introduced herself, the VP of Programming, is going to be running our Forever Forward on understanding your business life cycle. And this is a topic I really want to learn about, because some of the struggles that all of you were talking about, including I love Joel, I'm actually on the work site kind of thing, is pretty natural and expected if you understand how your business is operating in terms of its life cycle and what's to be expected in businesses at different points. So sign up for those. That link will get you there. It's also on our website.
Question, is that the right date? I'm sorry, could I ask you, is that the right date? Is February 12th is not a Friday?
Then it might be the 9th, and I didn't change the date.
Okay,
Yeah,
the
the
9th.
9th. Thank you for catching that.
Okay,
Perfect.
thanks.
All right. Our lawyers insist I tell you this presentation does not take the place of professional advice from your own paid advisors. So, Doogie, you're up.
All right, awesome. Wow, you gave it away a little bit, but all right. So when you look at this picture, what do you see? Oh, let me preface everything. I'm a very interactive speaker and presenter. So I do rely on people to actually speak up, get involved, and the more you get involved, the more we'll get out of it. In addition, as we go through, if there's a question, feel free to ask it as we go. If I'm not going to answer it right then and there, I'll tell you we'll answer it at the end. But feel free to raise the question as we go. So with that being said, when you look at this picture, what do you see? Feel free to unmute and just chime in.
I see choices.
Choices. Okay, great. What else do you see?
Opportunities.
Opportunities. Okay, great. What else do we see?
Several pathways.
Okay, several options. What else?
No clear direction.
No clear direction. Great. So
Confusion.
next question. How does this picture relate to your experience as business owners? When you look at this picture, now put it through the lens of you as a business owner.
Not knowing where to start or which way to head first.
So
trying to make the best decision, like that you kind of like don't know because you're just new.
Love it. What else we got? Anybody else? Let's get one more.
Just when I thought I knew where I was going, here we go again.
Yeah. So one of the biggest challenges as business owners is that we always have a lot of paths in front of us, and we rarely have a plan of which path we wanted to take when we went into it. So like the Lewis Carroll quote, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, always comes to mind, because that's how a lot of us as business owners operate our businesses. Our goal today, and Deborah, you can go to the next slide. Our goal today is to help you understand what kind of plan. Actually, no, let me go into it. I don't want to give it away yet. I have that problem. So why might you need a business plan?
Funding.
Funding is one. Okay.
To clarify
Anybody else?
direction.
Clarify direction. Great. What else?
If you're out of commission, somebody else can take it on.
Okay, fantastic. We've hit I think the big three so far. Anybody else? All right. So yeah, you hit funding, you hit strategic goals and objectives. Aligning yourself and your team is another tool, right? That's kind of like if something happens. And documenting any important information. Those are like the biggest 4 reasons. But there's a lot of other reasons why you want to do it. It's also the catch-all place for your company's information. It's the tool for explaining. It serves a lot of purposes, but there's a lot of options. All right, so next slide. So business plan is basically a tool, right? And with any tool, you have to know what your intention is behind it, right? What is this tool used to solve, right? A screwdriver can't do the same function as a hammer. And that's why the different types of business plans are very important. So I'm trying to keep track of my screen. So a full-blown, a traditional business plan looks like a very overwhelming document, right? It has all of these sections in it. Anything stand out to you? And I say stand out to you, be like, why would I need that? Is really what I want you to look at when you look at this picture.
I'm viewing this sort of as like a playbook for our company.
Yeah.
Competitor analysis.
Okay, we'll get back to that. Amy, go ahead and finish your statement.
Sure, thanks. Like a playbook of, sort of three major areas, sort of like the sales and marketing, like trying to figure out how people are coming into the business. Once they're in the business, how to fulfill on what they're there to get, and then kind of the internal operation. So those are kind of like, with all the things on this screen, I feel like I've tried to bucket it in those three areas, and then kind of after the fact, provide an executive summary in case somebody wants to see that, including funders.
Got it. Okay. So fantastic. Great. I want to make a comment, but I want other people to speak real quick before I do. All right. Anybody else? What stands out to you?
I don't know what SWOT analysis is.
So that is a SWOT analysis. It's a tool
Wait,
for.
I have a webinar on that.
So Deborah, why don't you share a little bit about a SWOT analysis real quick?
A SWOT analysis is understanding the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in your business. And it's interesting that it's on this slide, which of course I know because I helped build the slide deck, because a SWOT analysis is sort of a short version of a full business plan, because you're looking at, what do I bring to it? What does the market look like? And as I said, there is a webinar that just goes into SWOT analysis, and I can send you the link to that as well.
But the reason it is on here is because you're going to look at all four of those categories in any business plan that you're going to produce, right? If you're building the traditional, that 45-page, 50-page document that we all picture in our minds, you're going to have all of those sections in there. So that's why it's on here. Joel, you had a comment before I had to cut you off. You can go ahead and make it.
I just said like competitor analysis. I don't know. Sometimes I guess I just get caught up in like my own business and not realizing that like I still have to pay attention to the competitors that are also like, around.
Yeah. So one of the things you're in a traditional business plan, you're always going to need to do is that analysis of who your competition is. Because how do you make some of your decisions of where you fit into the marketplace without doing that? So that's why it's very important. But going back to something Amy said, knowing what kind of business plan and how you're going to use it is really important. And that's the question we're going to be answering today, right? So we're going to be covering 4 types of business plans today. We're going to be looking at them at a very high level. We're talking like 20,000 foot view. I'm happy to answer, and Deborah's happy to answer any more specific questions at the end as it pertains to your personal situation. But it's more to show you, here are different types of business plans that you can use depending on your situation and what you're trying to do with it. Not all business plans are the same. They don't all solve all the same problems. And depending on which core sections of the previous photo you need to focus on, they're going to solve different things for you. So let's dive into the first one, which is a traditional plan. We've all seen a traditional plan. You've all heard of it. They used to teach it in business school. They don't teach it anymore. But this is what it was. It is this massive document, right? It is the catch-all. It would take forever to write. Has anybody ever had that experience of like writing a really long one, going through the arduous process, and by the time you're done with it, you're just like, well, that was irrelevant.
Unfortunately, I have, and what I want to say about it is the time used to spent writing it is so much better spent actually building the business in almost every case I've ever seen anyone bother.
So the only time, there are 2 main situations where you'll need a traditional business plan. One, if you're going for traditional bank financing, right? If you go to traditional bank financing, this is what they require. Now, some banks are moving away from this, having their own kind of application systems and processes, and using just specific documents to make their decisions. But You will need this. The other thing is, if you have a very seasoned business, and going to the life cycles conversation that will probably occur in a few weeks, a more mature business, having a traditional business plan is very good because you've got years of documentations of how you've done things. You have years of it, and hopefully you use it at this point as a living document. So when a traditional plan moves to a living document, then it's something you're iterating and updating every single year, and it's projecting several years into the future. But for most people that I would say are under 10 years, unless you're going for traditional financing, probably not the best tool for you. All right. So the next one, this is my personal favorite, is the operational business plan. This one is entirely set up to be your day-to-day tool. This is the how-to manual to run my business. And I personally believe you should start doing this from the day one of your business. If you create a system or a process for delivering something, a product or service, a way you want your employees to do it, start documenting it from the beginning. The reason is it then can easily shift into other tools as you need it. If you need to shift it into a traditional business plan, you have a lot of your documentation. You have your marketing plan in this. You have your org chart in this. You have some core elements of it. You'll have your competitive analysis because that's something you should be doing on a regular basis.
Happy birthday to you, cha-cha.
So the operational plan is the second type. It is that how-to manual. Any questions so far on these two? These are the two largest documents.
And I just want to make a point. When Doogie and I were developing the content here, I would have called what he's calling an operational business plan standard operating procedures. And we also have done a webinar on standard operating procedures. I think of it as an operational manual for your business and less of a strategic document. But there's room for everybody to have a different point of view, right? There's no one perfect answer. This is how he thinks about it. I think about it a little differently. I will also share in the follow-up the link to our webinar on creating standard operating procedures if this is really of interest to you.
Yeah, so the next version is the new age business plan. That's what I refer to a pitch deck. So how many of you have seen a pitch deck? We've all seen Shark Tank, right? That's what it is. It's a pitch deck, which is just a visual guide to a very light business plan. It's usually used for either two purposes. One, introducing an idea, a flushed out idea that you want to present to non-traditional finance. And then, or as a sales document, right? As part of a sales process to pitch somebody in that way. It is designed to translate information and invoke a conversation versus answer all the questions that someone has. And so that's the substantial differences before it. And so that's a pitch deck. The times can everybody think of a time that they would actually use a pitch deck now in their business? Anybody thinking about this? Amy?
Yeah.
Sorry, Amy, and then Charlene, you can answer after.
Yeah, just quickly, is that this feels like the most relevant and what most people tend to be more interested in. Like, well, what are you doing? Okay, let's jump on a quick call, and it's more this than the others. Sorry, Charlene, go ahead.
Yeah, so hold on, before Charlene goes. So one of the things you can do with a pitch deck is a lot of the times companies will send this to somebody as part of their introduction or as part of their onboarding of a potential financier. So of an angel investor or a Series B or Series A, B, or C finance, they'll send a pitch deck as part of that introduction as that light touch point. And then they'll schedule a meeting where you go more in depth and really they're going to try to break down your numbers and understand it. Charlene Johnson, you had something? I think we can't. Oh. Charlene? Nope. All right. Well, while Deborah sorts this out, does anybody have any questions?
I'm trying to get to the chat so I can send them all the handout because I'm not great at multitasking, but keep talking and talk about whatever you
Okay.
want. I'll get this eventually. You know what? I'll stop sharing and you guys can just talk in the meantime. There we go.
All right, so we're gonna take a little pause. We've covered 3 of them. We'll get to the 4th one in a second. Does anybody have any questions right now? I know we're doing a very high level, but we can dig in a little bit if someone has a very specific question.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is anyone using AI to start with business plans and executive summary? I had a buddy that, got an opportunity and he goes, what would have taken me a week took me 3 hours because he used AI to generate the skeleton.
Did he think it was good?
Well, I mean, with AI, as I always say, you have to put in the HI component, human intelligence. Hi, remember me? I'm still here. So, he put the HI in after he used the AI, but the AI gave him the whole structure, everything he needed, and then he filled in the gaps.
Yeah, I mean, James, I could definitely see AI being advantageous. Like we're starting to use AI in a lot of like SOP writing. The challenge is some of the prompts aren't the best right now. And then you're gonna have to kind of write a custom prompt. It definitely could speed things up. If you know your numbers and you have some of those details, I could definitely see it speeding up the traditional process, and also doing some very high level market research, like ChatGPT 4, for instance, could create a pretty decent, probably competitive summary for your market if you write a good enough ideal client avatar and a good enough market profile. It could definitely speed that up.
That's a great question, James. Thanks.
You can use AI, but you still have to check it, and then it needs to have your tone and not be so, artificial, so to speak. And you have to know your information at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to have that information before you even use the tool, right? Like, if you just said, write me a business plan, it would give you something really generic and wouldn't actually be useful. If you actually read it, you'd be like, it looks good, but then it doesn't. What? This is light on every detail. Like, you ever asked it to write an article and then you read the article and you're like, huh? Right? Same thing would occur. All right. So let's move forward. So the last type is a lean canvas. And a lean canvas is, has anybody ever seen a lean canvas, experienced a lean canvas before? I see some head shaking, some hand raising. All right. So there's 2 main types of lean canvases. There's one that is a lean canvas. And then you have the one we're going to do today, which is a business model canvas. It's really designed to do, a lean canvas is designed for ideation. So that's when you need to create ideas of a business. So you have a problem that you've identified out there in the world, but you need to create an idea of how to solve that problem. So that's when you use a lean canvas. And then a business model canvas is cool. I know what problem I want to solve in the world. I now need to figure out how to turn that idea of how I want to solve it into something profitable. Right? So I covered this actually last night with my group. We talked about this in depth, but it's really our intention is to create a plan that matches our desired lifestyle and is profitable while solving the client or customer's problem. Hold on, Deborah, can you go back real quick?
Sure.
The other thing I want to stress is that it is a 1-page summary. So this is a tool. It typically takes between 10 minutes and an hour to fill one of these out, depending on the level of detail that you do. But it is your quick tool. So this is what I call most people's starting point. So even if you want to make a traditional business plan and you know you're going to need one, I suggest you still start with a business model canvas. So you're putting it down on 1 page. All right. Before we go into like doing the full tour of a business model canvas, and then getting into the activity today of actually going and getting the opportunity to do one, does anybody have any questions? Paula.
Doogie, it seems that the lean canvas, sorry.
Yes. Go ahead, Mike.
One of the benefits of it is to help people understand the boxes or the areas they need to focus on, as well as helping them understand how their business is different from others in the field. Basically, what's their differentiators, or how they're going to differentiate their business from others. Is that sort of accurate?
Yeah, so that is definitely one of the advantages. The other piece is it shows you where you need to go next, right? So it's like it allows you to put down all the information that you currently know and say, oh, well, hold on, I really can't put a ton of detail into how I'm different, my value proposition, and how I'm different from my competition. Okay, so I need to go do a deep competitive analysis. What makes me different? I can't answer that question, right? So really those two things. All right, so let's go into it.
And I actually just want to point out, and I heard some yeses, I've seen this before. This is what E4All uses as their business model canvas for their accelerator learning. So some of this should be familiar for E4All people. But honestly, one of the things I love about it is as you look through each section, it starts to help you identify where you really haven't spent any time. I think all of us, many of us are solo. It's like, it's really easy not to think about, oh, where do I buy my source materials? Should I find someplace different? And just the activity of spending some time thinking about all these areas can help you really surface some potentially important issues that will help you. So they all
I just had a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Paula.
Sorry, respecting what you were saying before, Doogie. Like, is there a difference between which one you should choose or which one you should start with? Because I'm kind of thinking that maybe you should have all of them. But
Are you saying
is it
which business plan should you start with? Is that the question?
yes, but my actual question is like, is there a difference if your business is a product based business or a service based business?
So in that regard, to the second question, personally, I don't think there's a difference. It really comes down to what are you going to use your business plan for? And that's something I'm trying to like hit on. Like if you're going for traditional financing, you have to write a traditional business plan, but you can start with a tool like this to then help you outline that business plan and see which information you really need to go after. It really starts with what's your intention. If you want something just to operate your business, okay, then you just need to start writing your operations manual, which is the compendium of your SOPs with a little bit of your strategic budgeting. And you put that all into one document. Now you have a great operations manual. If you need to go after financing, you can then transition it because you start with this document. So they do all build on each other in time, but it's which one, where do you need to start and where do you need to go based off of what your desired outcome is.
You know, Paula, if you were, for instance, going to be the partner to a traditional marketing agency and show them the strengths you were bringing as a bilingual marketer, they might actually want a PowerPoint, right? That shows your marketing ability. So, but still understanding the components and the subject matter and who your competitors are and what your key resources, this is work you need to do. And it might be messy on this piece of paper, but at least you'll have thought through and surfaced the key issues.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, so let's do a quick tour, make sure everybody knows what all the sections are. This way, when you go and do it, you know what the definitions are. So for me, the way I define key partnerships, that's called who. For me, this answers the who question. Who helps me to achieve what I need to achieve? Right? When I think about it like that, that's the question that it's the who. So who supplies me with the raw materials I need? Who supplies me with whatever my key anything is? Who do I need? Right? It's the who questions. And then you see all the list of suppliers, distributors, funders, alliances, leaseholders, all those things, right? The who's.
Does this include like business coaches or advisors as well in this section?
Sure.
Yeah, there's no reason you couldn't.
I think your E4Ever group maybe is on there, right? If those are people who you count
exactly,
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're a potential lead source, they're a support source. Yeah, 100. Yeah, the more I think about it, yeah, definitely.
If you're an e-commerce store, I bet your fulfillment house and your UPS guy, all of those things, it's gonna be different for every person. But James, if you are a person who needs to do contracts all the time, your lawyer might be here as a key partnership, right?
Yeah, so it's basically a list of the relationships, right? So to your point, James, like it's a list of all the people / organizations that you are reliant on to be successful. in this business model. So it can be anybody in that regard. And one thing to just note about a business model, you're going to always design a model. You use the tool to design it for one type of customer segment with one solution, right? So like if I have one service or one product that speaks to one customer, that's what you're designing for. If you have multiple different types of customers or multiple different solutions, you would create a different page for each of those. Okay, so one thing that a lot of people do is they try to put everything onto one page. But if you have multiple different products or services, those all need their own pages, because that's the way this tool is designed. So just a little bit of a warning. All right, next. All right, key activities. This is the how do I deliver whatever I do, right? So it's how do I deliver my service? How do I deliver my product? And just like the key partnership, this looks very different for every type of business, but it's got to answer that how question, right? Do you need manufacturing? Are you retail? Are you, do you have a storefront or not? Like, what is the key activities that you're doing? And you don't have to list all of the activities. If it's really, really like complex, you might put 4 bullets that are your indicator of what it is or how you're going to go about delivering it. Like e-commerce store might be one of the things. Retail location may be a second thing, right? And even though those have like 20 subcomponents inside of it, that's more of like how you shorthand document it. All right.
And there's
awesome.
a box that we're hiding here underneath the blue box that says key resources. This would be, you know, for the pretzel maker, like where are you getting your flour from? You know, where are the supplies coming from? That is it an employee who does the key work?
Yeah, we'll go back to the slide that has all of them, so we can look at all those sections and answer those questions.
Doogie, would you say there's some overlap between key resources and key partnerships?
So this is where you, as the person completing this document, needs to delineate the difference between them. Whereas like you might find that like, well, you might put all your physical resources into a category and all your people into another, right? That's easy if you're a product company. If you're a service company, then it can be kind of complex, but you might think like key partnerships are external and key resources might be internals in a service company. Does that make sense? Right. So like your key resources for your company might be your 2 employees and your web service provider, right? Those are your key resources, and your key partnerships might be your lead source and etc. Does that make sense?
That helps a lot. Thank you.
Okay. So like services, it's a little bit more difficult for a product-based company. It's a little easier. Like anything that's physical is going to be in key resources.
Gotcha.
All right, value proposition. This is why, right? Why is my solution better than everybody else's? Why does it solve your problem? This is the why. What is unique? And this is really a statement, right? My company solves XYZW. We're different because all those types of things. It's a statement. This one's, well, you see this on a lot of different pieces. It's your differentiating equation. All right. Next. Customer relationship and channel. So the top, we see customer relationships. The bottom is channels. Customer relationships. These are the tools we use to have a relationship. So these are the ones that we use for ongoing relationships with our customers. So like if we have regular meetings, like for instance, for my company, my relationships look like this. We use an email for shorthand communication, and then we do one-on-one meetings, right? Those are my customer relationship tools. My channels.
But see, when I think customer relationships in this way, I think about looking at who are the who's your customer? Are there many of them? Are there few of them? and then the level of detail you're talking about, because I think some people forget. I know, for instance, David, who's on here, he has one giant client. Well, understanding that your business is responsible is subject to the whims of that one big client is really helpful. And if you don't stop and think about it, so is it time for him to develop more products and more services to appeal to more different kinds of customers as well?
So that piece is actually, as far as my understanding of this tool, is actually the customer segment, where you would define that, because that's where you put your ideal client avatar and that profile. And if you identify, well, hold on, I only have a client, I've got a huge challenge. The bottom is channels, and that's your marketing channels, right? That's how you reach new clients, right? So that's like Instagram if you're using social media, or a print campaign, or however you want to market. That's what the bottom segment is on this. So customer relationship channels is your marketing channels, is the way to think about it. It's just a marketing term. And then we'll go to the next one. This is customer segment. This is your ideal client avatar. It is your one page, that demographic. And I know we do in eForever, we cover ideal client avatar a lot. This is the person that you're empathizing with. This is the person that you're trying to solve their problem. This is the person that my product solves that person's problem. I actually say a lot of people, when you start with this tool, you start here, right? You start with defining the customer, making sure that's really clear before you go and identify how you're helping that person, right? So this is the who.
I guess I wonder if maybe this this shouldn't be taken left to right. Maybe it's right to left.
Yeah, I don't know why it was designed this way, but it really should be right to left. But this is how they designed it, this tool. But really, this is where I suggest you start, is with defining your customer. All right, and then we'll do the last two sections, which are these two larger boxes at the bottom. We have our cost structure. That one's pretty self-explanatory. These are the associated costs with this model. Amy, you have a question?
Feel free to finish up.
Oh, so cost structure, that's just all the associated costs with this specific business model. So this may not include all of the overhead of the company if you have multiple different product services and multiple different client types, or it might if you're a one service or one product company right now. Okay. And then let me just do revenue, and then I'll answer Amy's question. Revenue is how you're actually getting money paid, right? How is money coming into you? Right? Is it a fee for service? Is it a freemium? Is it a retail location? Is it a subscription? You know, how is it coming into you? There are millions of different ways. And as I told my group last night, you can go on Investopedia and literally say business models, and they'll present you a list of 100 different types of business models. Cool. So pause. That's the tour. It's kind of engrossed. Let me answer some questions.
I have a question. It's a very personal question, but I hope it could help others. But okay, so I'm trying to understand, because, for example, I already have a business that it's been working for 8 years here in Chile. Okay, so I'm trying to open now like a version of this business that I have in the US, in Massachusetts. So what I'm trying to understand the difference between, like, for example, what if I don't have currently a revenue stream or a cost structure, just because I don't have the clients yet? So should it be like something that I look forward to? Like, what would my ideal customer look like? And according to that, like, that's
so
I'm confused.
Yes. So actually, in your case, since you're actually creating something new, you would actually use the other version of a lean canvas, which is actually called a lean canvas. So this is a business model canvas. This is for iteration, right? Like I said, like this one's for iterating on a current idea or making changes in your current idea, versus a lean canvas, which is, oh, I have a new idea. But even in your situation, I think you can still use this document because all you're trying to do is take your current idea and adapt it for a new market. Right? That's the real thing you're doing. So you're really iterating.
Yes.
Where is there difference for you is you have a different potential customer segment. You have a different set of key partnerships. You probably have a different set of key resources, but the rest of it may be similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And so those would be the areas that you would end up looking at and saying, hold on, what do I need to change, fix, or identify in these areas to be able to do that?
Great, thanks.
Cool. Amy, you had a question.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for going over this, Doogie. Okay, so my question, I think you touched on it. So I have two interrelated target audiences. I have organizations that are seeking help starting up running internship programs, and I have young people that are looking to get the skills and experience. So I think you said I would basically, in my case, so I actually have a core service for each audience, and I have two additional smaller services that I don't shout from the rooftops, but I have essentially 3 services for each of my audiences. So am I hearing that I would actually do 6 business model canvases in my case?
So I would suggest that in your case, you would do 6 of them.
Okay.
I think 2 is
like I said,
okay.
though, like some of the smaller ones, because your big one, since each one of them gets like a primary service.
Correct.
Right. Your secondary and tertiary services probably would only take you about 10 minutes to put down because you're really going to take the majority of the top and do the small differences that would be in them, which might just be like, honestly, the cost and the revenue.
Okay, that's helpful. And guys, I'm gonna, not to confuse anything, I hope this is helpful, Doogie, I'm gonna put in the chat an order that I've been exposed to that is the BMC, the business model canvas is, it's not, it's kind of meant to be, it's a little confusing because you did a great job facilitating, but the way it was designed, it's meant to be kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. And so this is the way I've seen it in terms of the order of it. And then I'll just give you guys, this is one of many kind of resources. So if you scroll down on this link, that's not my listing, but if you scroll down on that link, it gives like a visual of how people often kind of like the order of the different 9 boxes. So if that's helpful, use it. If not, scrap it. But thanks.
Appreciate it. That is very helpful.
You love the wisdom of the audience. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, that is a great suggestion. But Amy did bring up a very good point. It is meant to be a puzzle. Actually, like when the designer came up with this, they thought about like laying it out on a table or putting it on a whiteboard, and then kind of moving things around as they built it. And that's one of the reasons why I say make multiple pages, because then you fit your entire business together on a wall. Right? You put everything together, because then if you added like, okay, cool, now let me design the customer experience, you can start plugging those segments into where they fit into the customer experience. Like, when are you going to bring up the secondary offer? Great. Is it always after I do it, or after they say no to the first offer, I tell them about the second? Right? Where does it actually fit in to that sequence?
Right. And I think your point about, honing in on the customer segments, and I know eForever does a lot with that avatar, really exploring that, their pain points, what do they need? What do they think they want? And then kind of going from there. I think that's a great thing that you said toward the end, looking at the key customer segment and then going from there. I think that makes a lot more sense to me. So that was helpful because I've seen this a lot, but I always keep feeling like, for me, maybe I'm getting in my own way because I tend to do that, but there's always something like funky about this, that it doesn't seem to move my business planning forward for some reason, but I'm sure it's over here. It's me, not you. So that's that.
Well, also, one of the challenges a lot of the times is if you aren't used to using these tools or you're not used to writing business plans, it's beneficial to have it facilitated for you, to sit down with somebody else who can ask you the question objectively. And that can be a friend, that can be a coach, that can be whatever, but having that outside person, not directly emotionally connected to your business, can be extremely beneficial, like the first few times you try to use these tools, because you really don't know how to use them until you've used them. And no matter how many explanations or articles you read, you won't understand it until you actually go through it.
And you make
All
a
right,
really good point, Doogie, I want to summarize that, and I'd like to see if we can get a little time for a little bit of breakout for folks who can stay on. Is you cannot completely outsource the business of writing a business plan. The information is in your head. You can use someone as a sounding board. Someone can help you structure it into words. But if you don't think through all of these things yourself, then it's a piece of fiction. It's sort of loosely based on your business, but it doesn't really address why you need to have the plan and whether it's truly a document that will be useful.
All right. So this is your chance. Before does anybody have a takeaway so far from what we've covered? I know we haven't actually done the activity yet, but I want to know like where we're at, kind of get a barometer of the room. What's something that you've learned or taking away or something like, oh, hold on, I want to do this.
Doogie, I like the fact that you're starting with the canvas and getting your ideas out, sort of like a brain drop. And then just like Deborah said, it shows you what areas you need more work on. My partner and I are actually going through the same exercise, and it's a very good exercise for any business owner to go through.
Awesome. That's a great takeaway. Sydney, I thank you for your comments in the chat about the different aspects that you need different plans for different aspects of your business. That's a great takeaway. Anybody else?
I like that. So I've done formal business plans for my corporate world years ago, but my personal, I've been putting everything in spreadsheets. So I really like this template to be able to focus each product. You know, I have a COG spreadsheet and all of that, but I like that I can actually look at each product and divide it out. I know it's more work just to do that one template, but it's great to have it for each product. So I think that'll be super helpful for me in looking at that and where I want to take my product level and which place I need to take it. So thank you. I enjoy it.
Awesome. That's a great takeaway. Let's do two more. Paula?
Yeah, I just want to say from a marketing communications perspective, this is very useful. It's going to be very useful down the road when you want to start marketing and have a plan, you know, to put yourself out there, your product out there, your service, because you need to know. I mean, this is something that I kind of do, not from the business perspective with my clients, but from the communications and just getting to know your story. And a lot of what you've talked about today is something that we have to dig deep into. And sometimes people have been in their business for years and they cannot answer these, you know, sometimes you would think simple questions about what is your unique sell point, you know, or what differentiates you from your competitors. So this is going to be very helpful down the road.
That is a great point. I mean, it takes us back to that picture way at the beginning of the roads diverging in the forest, right? That's how most